What makes this one of the coolest cars you could add to your collection? This is the BMW E30, the 80s/90s boxy sedan that quickly became a race champion, a drifting icon, and one of the most loved BMWs of all time. The BMW E30 is the second generation of the BMW 3 Series models, and they were produced between 1982 and 1994, the same year that my husband was born in. So, as one good thing ends, and so begins another. BMW refined everything from its predecessor, the E21, such as stronger build quality, better handling, more comfort, and more engine options, which is very important. Over 2.4 million units were sold worldwide, making this definitely one of the most popular cars to buy during that time period. It was classified as a compact executive car, refined and premium, but still incredibly driver-focused. Okay, so full disclosure, I did not know what an executive car actually meant. So it is described as a premium vehicle balancing luxury and performance, more upscale than a standard compact sedan. What also made these cars special is that they came with an LSD as an optional extra from BMW. This stands for limited slip differential, and it allows for both rear wheels to receive power. It also improves traction, it improves drift control, and basically turns the car into a drifting machine. So I would try and put myself into the shoes of a professional, maybe a lawyer or a doctor or a, accountant in that time period. You may not want to rock up to your business meetings or appointments in a VW Beetle. That's really cutesy, really quirky. You may want to rock up in something a little bit more serious, a little bit more stylish, a little bit more professional, such as an E30. And there you have your target market. For me, what makes the E30 super special is that the E30 was so boxy. Its clean lines, compact proportions, and those quad headlights are what gave it this classic, timeless look. It also solidified it as one of the best stance cars to own due to its boxy nature. In South Africa, where Jack Garage is based, E30s are pretty notorious at the car meets and the stance shows, with the community loving a dropped E30, probably more than any other car, I would say. The cars that appeal to the crowd mostly would be, I'm going to go top 3, would be a dropped Golf GTI, a dropped City Golf, with number 1 being a dropped E30 for sure. The body styles included the 2-door coupe, the 4-door sedan, the 2-door convertible, and obviously the touring wagon, which we unfortunately did not get in South Africa. Very, very sad, because they are sick. I mean, look at those. BMW brought these cars out with 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder engine options. The 4-cylinders featured in the 316 and the 318, and the 6-cylinders featured in the 320, the 323s, and the 325s. The legendary 325s. Gotta love a 325. In South Africa, where we were from, the 325s coined themselves a nickname, Gusheshe. This is derived from the isiZulu term uyashesha, which means to go fast or you are fast. And I think that is pretty damn fitting for a 325.
Manual executive. 2.7 evolution 4 schedule 9. Multi-valves 325 IS.
There were also diesel variants such as the 324 diesel and the 324 turbo diesel, and those were popular in Europe and nowhere else to my knowledge. But the most desirable engine by far was the 325. Special versions were the South African only 333 and obviously the M3. I mean, how can you talk about the BMW E30s without talking about the M3s? So a little bit of history behind the M3. BMW needed a homologation special, which, if you don't know what that means, is basically a race car that they needed to manufacture in order to race under motorsport rules. The race car would have to be based on the road legal production vehicle, and a minimum amount would have to be sold worldwide. And key components such as the engine and the suspension and whatnot had to match that of the production vehicle. What made the M3 different from the standard production vehicle was that it came with a 4-cylinder engine, not a 6-cylinder engine like one would think. They had dual overhead cam engines with individual throttle bodies, which allowed for better responsiveness, better airflow, and better fueling. Bigger brakes, came standard with an LSD, so this thing was a drifting machine out the box. More of a racing suspension in that it was stiffer, it had a lower ride height, it had reinforced subframes and bigger anti-roll bars. It also had a slightly wider body, like a little body kit on it. This like sporty little spoiler, this sporty motorsport steering wheel, and lightweight seats. It was just a different beast altogether. So once the M3 debuted, it immediately began dominating touring car racing worldwide. Dominating the DTM championships, the British Cup, and like all that shit across Europe. It did extremely well. It also competed in rally, but was not as successful on the gravel as it was on the tar. But it does still remain a popular vehicle for, obviously, E30 spec racing, drifting, and track days. So now that you know the facts about the car and a little bit of the history, I didn't go too deep because I don't want this to be a 30-minute video. Let's get into what makes these cars so iconic and why people love them so much. So firstly, they are boxy. They are boxy as hell. They are a little box with a bonnet, with a boot, with little doors. These make them the ultimate stance cars, and nothing looks better than a little BMW cereal box with some BBS rims dropped to the floor. Nothing. Oh, and the bonnet hinges from the front. They were like, let's just make the bonnet hinge from the front because why not? It's cool. We're different. They're also made for the streets in that they're fast. Don't get me wrong, they are fast. They're not like Porsche 996 GT2, I'm scared I might die right now kind of fast. They're like a happy, safe fast, not a scary bad fast. Yeah, I would like to live, so. They also sound great with a straight pipe. NB, NB, NB. What also makes cars cool? Cool people liking them. Duh. Like the rapper slash musician Frank Ocean, he had an orange M3 on the cover of his Nostalgia Ultra album. Very cool. It looked sick. The quintessential car guy from the Fast and Furious franchise, Paul Walker, had one. In fact, he had a bunch of M3s, most of them being E36s, but he had an E30 M3 as well, a white one. Tyler, the Creator, who's incredibly cool, incredibly fashionable, incredibly trendy, he has one. They're just cool. They're just retro. They're just a vibe. They're also like damn expensive at the moment. Don't know why. People are catching on. People are catching on. You don't think people see what you see, but people see, unfortunately. For instance, in South Africa, a clean E30 will be going for anything upwards of 350,000 Rand. That's not even a 325. And don't even get me started on the M3s. It makes me sick to my stomach. And then on the other hand, you could risk it and purchase one off a Facebook Marketplace, which, I mean, in South Africa is honestly a total gamble, with a lot of the prices seeming reasonable for the condition. Some of them being super shit boxes, SSBs, and some of them being complete scams altogether. So you really never know what you're going to get. That's why we recommend buying one through word of mouth. A car that has a known history, maybe through a friend or a friend of a friend. If you don't have that luxury or privilege, you're going to have to do a thorough inspection of the vehicle. One last thing before I wrap up is that I cannot begin to explain the enigma surrounding E30s in South Africa particularly. For instance, you could be driving an E30 that very clearly needs a lot of TLC. It's like a real SSB super shitbox. And you'll drive past a group of guys and they're busy walking. They see your E30 and they'll start losing their minds. They'll start whistling at your car. They'll start telling you to give it sauce. Like, people just go crazy for them. People just can't help but smile when they see one. And a lot of the time, it's like they don't even care if it is an SSB or whether it's some guy who spent like R1 million buying a really clean M3. But they'll still lose their minds when they see one. It unites us. It unites the shit boxes and the rich boxes. Did I just come up with that? The shit boxes and the rich boxes? Wow! E30s were also used in a South African sport called spinning. At least I think it's a South African sport. I've never seen it anywhere else in the world. Because these cars are so good at drifting when you put an LSD in them, the spinning guys will get the car into a spin. I think that they somehow lock the steering wheel. I don't know how they do it. And then the drivers will do things like hang out the windows while the car is spinning. They'll sometimes jump onto the bonnet, sometimes even jump onto the roofs and do like a little jive. And the crowds go wild. It is such a form of showmanship. It's so crazy. It's so out there. It just seems super dangerous. And super dangerous stuff adds to the enigma behind the car. So it's almost, in a way, like the E30 symbolizes the rebellious nature of South Africans. Like when I think of an E30, I think wheels spinning. I think loads of smoke. I think O's limiting their cars at the stance shows, just going like bwap 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 bwap. It's just like hooliganism. It is a bit symbolic of our rebellious nature, for sure. Having a good, fun time in your little shitbox or rich box, whichever one. Having fun like a hooligan should in your shitbox or your rich box. Okay, back to the actual video. The spinning became so popular that Top Gear actually came to South Africa to shoot an episode, and they went to one of the spinning events. Like, can you imagine the culture shock? Just a PSA for all of you out there who are interested in E30s or already have an E30. These cars are also quite notorious in South Africa for being hijacked. So do not be driving your E30 around in dodgy areas, driving it around at night where the street lamps don't work. Just be careful. The cool thing about South Africans as well with E30s is that we are not purists. Well, most of us at least aren't purists. So we have absolutely zero issue engine swapping a car in order to make it the car of our dreams. So if we find like a decent 316 that's worth buying, you best believe we will be engine swapping it with a 325. And we will even go so far as to get the 325 badge and slap it on the back and make you think that it is a real 325. We take it that far. In saying that, my E30 has been engine swapped with an E36 325 non-Venus engine, and I'm super stoked that it has been, so now I don't have to go through the hassle of sourcing an engine, but that's a video for another day. Otherwise, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned a bit about E30s. I hope that you're now part of the shitbox or richbox club. Now you've learned the word gusheshe and SSB and rich boxes. We will be doing a full rundown of the vehicle that I purchased and telling you what has been done to the car and what we still want to do to the car. So yeah, please give me a little thumbs up if you like this video. It really costs you nothing and would make my day. Please hit the subscribe button if you would like to see more of what we're doing at Jack Garage, would like to see what Nathan's up to, and if you would like to see what we get up to with the E30 going forward. Have a lovely rest of your day and peace.